Have you ever been smart enough to realize that you're dumb, but not smart enough to fix your mistakes? That's been me for the majority of my life. Hello, my name is VC Ackerman. I have written many things throughout the years, such as the stories on this YouTube channel, but my real goal in life is to make comics. I realized this was my goal ever since 2018. Now, why would I work on everything but comics if my dream job was to make comics for a living? Short answer, I'm stupid. Long answer, I'm poor and stupid. Due to muscle and nerve damage in both of my arms, I can't draw. It also hurts to write, but typing is less painful than drawing. So I need to hire an artist if I want to make comics. However, comics are incredibly expensive to make. Even if I had the money to hire someone, my work probably wouldn't gain much traction without a fan base. So I figured the best way to tackle the money and fandom issue was to get into novel writing. If my books got popular, then I'd have enough money to create comics. And once the comics were ready for launch, then I'd have a fan base who, hopefully, would be interested in my comics because they already like my writing. Perfect idea. Flawless idea. Nothing wrong with this idea at all. So from 2018 to 2023, I wrote 4 novels, 2 novellas, 2 novelettes, 5 short stories, 17 poems, and a Humans of New York inspired story, with 52 interviews which totaled to about a little over 7,000 words. I didn't publish any of this, I just wrote stuff. In November of 2023, a late night conversation with my sister made me realize I had made a horrible mistake. To paraphrase my sister, with how difficult it is to make a living in the art world, becoming a novelist to afford creating comics is like playing slot machines so you can afford to play poker. Yay! So after this devastating conversation, I put a pause on traditional storytelling. From January to May of 2024, I worked on a script for a comic idea I had. This script was abandoned because I couldn't stop thinking about all the work I had previously done. It wasn't the sunken cost fallacy. It was the idea that my stories could be good enough to make money, and I was just letting them rot on my laptop. If I could make money off of them, wasn't it worth it to try? I already wrote the stories. I may as well get them published, right? While I preferred to self-publish my work, after asking strangers on the internet for advice, most people said I should publish my stories traditionally, so I looked into agents and publishing houses, only to find that the vast majority of them wanted you to have an audience. Don't get me wrong, it's not impossible for you to get published as a nobody, but you're more likely to get picked up if you already have a fan base. This is when I decided to turn to YouTube. I figured if I posted shorter stories on here and managed to build up a following, then an agent or a publishing house would take me as a client. Or I could sell my comics directly to my audience. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right. My new scheme was to get YouTube famous. I was playing slot machines so I could afford to play poker. Again! I posted my first video on October 1st, 2024. My last video, which wasn't a trailer or a rehash of previous stories, was posted on January 24th, 2026. As you can see from my follower count and the amount of views I received per video, I failed to turn this channel into anything valuable. Due to the aforementioned damage to my arms, creating these videos have been physically taxing, and I subjected myself to all that pain for nothing. I'm not saying this to gain sympathy. Petty engagement never leads to long-term success. The main purpose of this video is to explain why I am no longer creating animations for this channel, and will pivot to writing comic scripts again. If my chances of success are low no matter what I do, then I prefer to do something I love. I won't delete this channel. I'm planning to use this account to advertise my comics when I'm done, but I'm not sure when that will happen. It may be a better idea to start a completely new channel, but considering that this account doesn't get much traction, posting comic videos on here will basically be like posting on a new account anyway. Despite my lack of views, I didn't want to be another channel that just stops uploading without explanation. Thanks for watching.